It's the Everyone's a Critic 1993 podcast. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. With me is Amy Kay.
Hello!
And MJ.
Hello.
And of course, find us on social media. Everyone's a Critic movie review podcast. You can find the feed there. You can find this week's episode, Indecent Proposal, up now, I believe.
God, I missed that movie.
Absolutely no 90s handjobs in this week's movie.
No. Dang it! No, but this movie, there's no way you want to have a 90s handjob from this movie. This movie's too sweet.
Benny and Joon is
Yes.
this week's movie, starring Aidan Quinn, and other people are in the movie too.
Johnny Depp, Mary Stuart Masterson, Julianne Moore, and girl number 1 and 2. And Oliver Platt.
Don't forget, we are in the Plativerse.
We are in the Plativerse, which I'm loving that.
2 weeks in a row in the Plativerse.
I love me some Oliver Platt.
In one universe, he's a high-powered lawyer negotiating fuck contracts. And in this movie, he's a part-time mechanic.
Yeah, and he does it well. And stuff.
He does it.
Yeah. The premise of this film. I guess I'm just wondering because I know how I feel because this is the second time I've ever seen this movie.
Yeah.
And I loved it the first time, and to me it still holds up. It's charming. So, and I love everybody in it, so you'll just have to take it from there.
MJ, what'd you think?
I liked it. I mean, his character kind of bothered me for a
Johnny
while.
Depp?
No.
Aidan Quinn.
Yes. His character bothered me. Just because it's primarily because of the time where people were not as nice about mental illness back then.
That's true.
So it just kind of bothered me, especially when it was like the one person that was making her happy, and then there was some issues. So
Yeah. But, I mean, again, and you're right, it was such a different time, and again, the words used back then are so different than they are now, and the view of mental illness is so different now, too.
Yeah.
But I loved how Mary Stuart Masterson played it, because to me, it's like, I know that girl. I've worked with that girl before, you know what I mean? So...
It's a tightrope act, because the character that she's playing could be accused of being sort of a burlesque of mental illness.
Yeah.
You're putting on that mental illness act to garner acting points, and not a lot of actors can do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, that's true, and again, I definitely think she's autistic from what I could see from this.
What Roger Ebert pointed out is that her character is schizophrenic, and when she takes her medication, she's relatively normal and sane, and when she doesn't, she goes off the rails. She
teeters though, because there's if she's on her medication, she still wants to set things on fire. She still wants to do those things that in her head kind of push her. I think she has a few issues there. But again, I thought it was dealt with beautifully. I really enjoyed it. And then I think that was the other thing about Johnny Depp's character, Sam, when he comes in. Because you assume that he also is on the spectrum. He also has... Because he's just so... And I know people are going to hate this, because I hate this word too. But the quirkiness of it. Mm-hmm. But that was back really before everybody wanted to be so quirky. He loved Buster Keaton, so he emulated Buster Keaton.
I think what Depp's performance kind of implies, and it's never really said, neither is, they never use the word schizophrenia either, which I think is smart. But what Depp's performance seems to imply is that he grew up without parents. I mean, essentially, he does mention a mother, he does mention being close to her, but I think this is a kid who was plopped down in front of a television with a bunch of VHS tapes and just left to... Or afternoon television and just left to kind of watch that and go, figure out what your life is, kid.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But again, they both play it so beautifully. It's a very, if you're having an anxious time, if you're having panic attacks or anything, this is the movie to sit down and watch. I feel like you'd just be it's just so sweet in its way, and you can just kind of allow yourself to enjoy something without going, oh, we get it, the whole shtick where he's miming shit and say, oh, that's so cute, and whatever. Because we're all so jaded now. We're all so, but when it came out, there was something very delightful, whimsical about it. So, I don't know. Just really fucking liked it.
And that's the podcast, everybody. Thank you for
We'll
joining
see you
us.
later. Thanks for dropping in.
Vinny and Joon are brother and sister. They live together in somewhere in Spokane, Washington. She's kind of been treated for whatever her mental illness is, and there seems to be potentially getting worse. And there's talk of moving her to a group home. Her brother doesn't want to do that. She's run off every one of her caretakers at this point, which again is kind of becomes a trope after this.
Yeah.
Where people tend to use that type of behavior as a joke, where they just drive strangers away because they want to, and it becomes like it's funny because they're always doing that. All those wacky people. I didn't feel like they played that as a trope here, although I thought the movie was going to go off the rails initially with the Irish woman character that they introduced.
I understood one sentence that she said. And even then, I did not understand the actual words.
No. And it's not because she's Irish. It just
No.
sounded like she was like citing a soliloquy or something.
They direct it. She's unmarriageable is one of the words that they use, which is like, what does that have to do with anything?
It's so weird. So weird.
But yeah, that character, you can barely understand a word that she says.
I didn't miss her when she was gone.
Yeah, well,
No.
she has no lasting impact, even though she's name checked multiple times.
Smale. Smale. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's
Classic Irish name.
Smale O'Grady.
Oh, great.
O'Hurley. Sorry, Ireland. Yeah, so, but I mean, like, I'm glad that happened early on in the movie because that would have, like, if we would have kept seeing, caretakers throughout the film and, like, just getting kicked out, you're right, like, that would have gotten really old really fucking fast.
Yeah.
But
It takes a while for Johnny Depp to show up in this movie. Like,
you're right.
officially
Is
show
he
up.
actually in the movie?
You get a glimpse of him very early on.
In a tree.
And first you see him on a bus reading a book about Buster Keaton.
Right. Yeah.
And then you see him in the tree. And again, every time you see him, it seems to threaten to go into this, like, really twee thing. Like,
And it could be seen as creepy.
Yeah.
Like, now, if I saw a guy in a tree watching me, I'd be freaked out. But I mean, I don't have a tree, really, that people can get into,
Yeah.
so... I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's way out there and I won't see you right away.
Yeah. It's kind of tall. I'm not really sure.
I don't know if you're going to want to be up in that tree. Look, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's not climb trees. Let's
Yeah.
not do that.
It's a bad idea.
the way he's sort of introduced into the story, he's got a cousin who hates him. He's supposed to be staying with him. The cousin then bets Johnny Depp in a poker game. Tell people about this poker game.
I loved this. Actually, I don't even like cards, but I would play this poker game because they're actually like they're drawing or writing down things that they own that they're betting on, basically. So, like, one was a salad shooter, which I love that because I actually sang the theme song, the commercial jingle, which I thought Oliver Platt, that's awesome. Salad shooter.
How does that work, by the way? How did a salad shooter work?
You had to put all because it's like
It's
a
a real
gun
product.
It's like a gun, and then you stuff your shit in there, and then you just pull the trigger, and it's brrrr, and shit just goes all over
Flies
your
out
salad.
as a salad?
It's awesome.
So can you just go around shooting people with salad?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's going to be chopped up, so it
'Cause,
probably
like,
won't hurt as much.
No, but like you could just. You've been salad.
You've been saladed?
Yes, you've been saladed.
They saladed me again. Not again.
Can't even leave my house. I'm getting saladed.
I need to see a picture of the salad shooter, because I have actually no memory of the salad shooter. I have no...
You don't even remember the commercial?
Maybe I remember the commercial. I don't remember the product itself. It's very... wait, this still exists, or...
Well, yeah, there's a newer version of it now.
The
Down
Presto-
the rabbit hole of salad shooters.
The Presto salad shooter is still available at Walmart, so this is a product.
1993. Let's look at that one.
And yeah, that's what a...
salad shooter.
Oh, well
Presto.
then, yeah, you couldn't really shoot
No.
somebody with the
Well, I mean,
Probably doesn't have much range
well, just put
Yeah.
it over their head.
while they're sleeping. You've been saladed.
Wake up, there's carrots in your hair. not again.
I really want to cover someone in salad now while they're sleeping.
It's like your
It kind of sounds like something Joon would do.
It absolutely, yeah. Oh, that was the other thing that Joon in her blender, putting in peanut butter, Captain Crunch, peanut butter, and milk, and that would be her morning smoothie.
It was peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Yeah, and peanut butter.
And then peanut butter, yeah.
And milk. Yeah.
And then serving it as a shake.
Which, it sounds great to me. Like,
I mean, it probably didn't taste too bad. I mean,
I'm not sure about the consistency.
I think if you froze it and made it like ice cream, I think that'd be good.
That actually might be good.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest food in this movie exactly? Is it
iron cheese? Probably.
Iron cheese.
There's a portion of the movie where Johnny Depp is making food and he decides that he's going to make some grilled cheese.
Yeah.
So he uses a clothing iron, and an ironing board, and a bunch of sandwiches and butter.
Yeah, not only that, it's like really funny too because they only made like 50 of them.
Yes,
but
he just kept making them.
Which I suppose once you get done, but I mean, like, he used an entire loaf of bread for that. Which
an entire stick of butter too.
An entire stick of butter. Probably a whole package of cheese, and you made the good point of like he's like smushing them down, so then you would have to make more.
Yeah,
so you could have a double decker.
You can smash them together.
Right, exactly.
That's how you do it.
So
that's the trick. Don't do that though.
Don't.
This movie should come with a warning because you're gonna. How many kids ruined their parents' irons making fucking grilled cheese sandwiches?
Look, you can buy an iron for $5. Really? Just go to Walmart and buy one, and just keep it in your kitchen.
This is the cheese iron.
This is the cheese iron.
This is the clothing iron.
We were just talking about this.
Separate ones.
Yeah, you put one in the kitchen cupboard and one in your utility room. At my 80 years old.
Do you steam? Do you steam the cheese?
You don't steam it. You just let the thing get hot and then shove it down. Yeah.
I feel like soggy cheese would not be good.
No.
She did mention something about the silk setting.
Yeah, because he tried all of them. Did he try all the settings? Or no, she thought he was very smart because he knew not to use those other settings.
Yes.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, and he didn't use cotton because it would start on fire.
That's right. That's right. I don't know. It's so easy to be cynical about a movie like this. You know what I mean? It's so easy to do that.
I had to resist that very much.
I could tell on your face.
Kind of try to learn to tolerate this movie because it does start off with the most obnoxious song in human history.
The worst song ever of all time.
This is the song that brought the Proclaimers "I Would Walk 500 Miles" to America.
I never forgave them. I'm still not over it. And not only that, but the song bookends this film. Like, why? I get it, you're starting it with it, but do we have to end with it too? Like, I don't know. That upset me. I didn't like that.
No.
But like the soundtrack is so wacky. Like you get a really great Soundgarden song. Like
that was totally out of place.
I loved it.
I mean, I don't mind.
I think it's very 90s.
Not about the song, but like, in this movie, this is not a a hard grunge movie.
We've got like Joe Cocker and just I don't know. It's
the shittiest Joe Cocker.
The shittiest Joe Cocker.
I think Joe Cocker was doing a Joe Cocker impression.
It's drunk Joe Cocker.
I actually was listening to it going, I know that's supposed to sound like Joe Cocker, but is it Joe Cocker?
We have Joe Cocker at home.
That's what it is. It's the Joe Cocker you have at home.
God damn it. Yeah, the soundtrack, I wish that would have been better, especially because of the kind of film this was. It would have been really great to have some really off-the-wall kind of indie music, you know what I mean? But instead we get like some really schlocky 90s, which again, you're just waiting for that sax sting and it never comes. We even had a rain scene where the sax should have been playing, but that didn't happen. But was this one of Julianne Moore's first movies?
Had to be, right?
Had to be. Because she did Mickey Blue Eyes after this one.
That movie's like in 2000.
Well, no, I thought it was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Mickey Blue Eyes? That was like 2000. I remember because I hate that movie. It's fucking trash. It's an absolute garbage movie. So yeah, I remember Mickey Blue Eyes.
Oh, Hugh Grant.
Such a piece of shit.
Some of your choices just suck.
He's having such a great time now, though. Like, he's doing the best work of his career right now.
I love it.
It's amazing. Like, with him in Dungeons and Dragons and him with the the Jason Statham movie that he was just in. He's having the best time.
I want to see Dungeons and Dragons. That's gonna
Everybody
I do
needs to
too.
see Dungeons and Dragons. It's so good.
Chris Pine, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll check that.
Now officially the best of the Chris's.
Oh. Wait, that's not true. I'm trying to think of a better Chris. Chris.
Just my personal opinion. He's made the best movies thus far this year.
Okay. Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out in a couple weeks. Maybe it'll change.
No. I'm over Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about him, to be honest.
Movies are good.
Yeah.
Don't like him.
No. Just take me back to Andy on Parks and Rec and I'd be happy. Just that's who I want to remember him as, is that person. So anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, early days for Julianne Moore playing a very awkward one-time actress,
Yeah.
also an apartment manager and also a part-time waitress.
Yeah.
So
At a restaurant shaped like a milk bottle.
I loved that. It's
Real restaurant.
so very Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a very interesting idea for a character to make her a former actress.
Yeah.
And now have 2 jobs. Especially with as young as she was, or like
Yeah.
as young as she was, like that, it didn't really seem like she'd go from actress to waitress. Usually it goes the other way.
Waitress to actress, yeah. Yeah, that's true. But then, like, she even said in the film, that he asked, he's like, why don't you do this anymore? She's like, I just wasn't really good at it. It's nice when you can see that of yourself, you know? Just get out while
But
you
in the
can.
clip they show, yeah, she does
It's
a great
terrible.
job of being a terrible actress.
God love her.
I did recognize that movie, though. It looked like something that Jeff would actually watch.
Yeah.
Jeff from the regular podcast would totally recognize that movie, too, the same way that Johnny Depp did.
Oh, my God.
Sam recognized the movie immediately, because that's his entire personality is made up of movies that he's watched
Right.
in his life.
Well, I think it kind of reminded me of you a bit, because, like, then he gets the job at the video store, and he knows all of this movie information, and like, you really see him kind of come out of his shell, too, when he
I
gets
also
that job.
have a lot of wacky contraptions in order use to clean things.
It's not true. I've lived with you. You have no contraptions. You don't even have a vacuum. Yeah, and that's because I guess I didn't remember this. I kept thinking back about the film when I saw it at like 15, 16, was I don't remember him talking that much. Like, I just remember him kind of miming his way through the film. So it was nice that I remembered that wrong. I was glad that he actually had things to say. One of my favorite scenes is going into the video store to get the job.
Yes.
It's like, it says he takes up the help wanted sign and he says, I want to help. And I love that. I thought that was such a sweet little moment. So great. And he had a couple of lines like that just like make your little heart melt. Just love it.
Imagine if everyone just went up and was just like, hey, I would like to help. And then they helped for a day. And
Yeah. You don't have to pay me. I just said I wanted to help. Come on.
I'm helping.
MJ's Communist Utopia.
Finally, the manifesto can be written. Yes.
Entire life is just community gardens and just people volunteering to work at your business.
Look, I would love that life. I'm fine with that. There's the scene, one of my favorite scenes too, and again, I guess this kind of speaks to psychosis, but when Joon actually gets the scuba gear, the scuba mask, and just goes out and directs traffic with a ping pong paddle.
Yes.
I've never related so much to somebody in my life.
Didn't Martin Lawrence actually do that?
Martin,
I shouldn't make fun.
you shouldn't. Yeah. But I thought it was a really great scene, and she's so hyper aware of her surroundings. She knows what she's doing. She also knows the law. She knows the rules. She can do whatever she wants.
And at some point, like I pointed out while we were watching it, like at some point it's the car's fault that they ended up in the situation that they're in.
Exactly.
I mean, first of all, why are you taking direction from her? She's wearing a fucking scuba mask. Just drive around. Like she's not actually directing traffic.
It's true. If you saw somebody with a scuba mask, you probably would say,
A scuba mask and a ping pong paddle.
And a ping pong paddle.
She doesn't have the authority to tell you to stop.
No, that's true.
You just go slow, move around her. you know.
Wait for her to leave
I
in front of your car.
Honestly, I don't feel like that was her fault. I feel like that's every other driver.
I agree.
For a small town like they're in,
Yeah.
that was a massive traffic jam.
That was.
I blame the drivers entirely.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely. Not just because I love her, but
No,
also because
it's just because they're irresponsibly paying attention to her and like trying to go when she's directing them to. Like, don't listen to the lady with the ping pong paddle trying to tell you to go. Don't do that.
You know, that's good advice if you think about it. Don't listen to the lady with the ping pong paddle.
Yeah. I shouldn't have to tell you this. The movie wants to blame her.
It's true. God damn.
Wouldn't that have been hilarious, though, if Aidan Quinn had walked in and pointed that out?
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been a great line. That's a missed opportunity. Damn. Yeah. So I mean, and I think you had to know too. Like we were getting close to that point where obviously you could tell that Sam and Joon were falling in love. It was just you knew it from the minute that she saw him with her helmet on and he was up in the tree. You knew something. They just caught each other's eye, and
it was just like, okay, yep, that's gonna happen.
That is going to happen, and of course, then he doesn't like any of that. He's not down with it.
No,
Yeah.
that was my issue with him. He wasn't open to things.
Well,
Like
it's
she deserved to be happy.
That was a bit of a contrivance, though. Like, I mean, at a certain point, he did allow Sam into the house. Like, what did he expect? I mean, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I mean, was it though? Was it obvious to him? Because it seemed like he was already kind of like all over the place. He's just kind of scattered. So maybe he just wasn't paying attention. And maybe
that felt a little contrived to me, though, that he would react the way he did.
I felt like in that situation, you look at, if it's your sibling, you look at them, you don't look at them as a person who might be a sexual being, who might, have a world outside of just what you know of them.
I think, though, from a plot construction standpoint, though, if his upsettedness had come after the bus ambulance scene, if that was what led him to be upset with Sam, like a misunderstanding, it would have sat better with me. But him getting upset about it beforehand and that leading to the bus scene,
okay,
I didn't buy into him being that upset about it.
Yeah, especially with how much better she was getting.
Yeah,
anyway.
Especially things were going so well, and he knows well enough that if he gets agitated that way, it's going to agitate her. Like,
right.
I think I just didn't buy into that aspect, but it's a small thing, but it's just one thing that just kind of nagged at me a little bit about that idea. And I think without the prior scene, if it just goes to like Sam wanted to do something nice for her and take her out, after maybe he's like, I don't think you two should do this. Like maybe he's more reasonable about it, and like I don't really think that you two are capable of doing this. And then he goes to do his thing, and Sam tries to take her out and show that he can take care of her, and then she has her meltdown on the bus, and then he gets really upset, like, stay away from my sister. Construction-wise, I think that makes a little more sense.
That would have made more sense, yeah.
That would make much more sense.
Yeah, I like that. But then they probably would have never gotten on the bus.
Maybe.
Because they wouldn't have run off together.
But I'm saying, like, I think if Johnny Depp's character wanted to prove that he could take care of her and take her out for a night.
I gotcha. Yeah, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
I get that. Good point. Guess we have to go back and make the film now.
Yeah, you need to fix that plot hole there, guys. Come on.
Let's bring all the actors back. Let's do this.
They're all like in their 60s now.
That would be hilarious.
It would be, actually.
It like
I'd love
now.
to see them like as grandparents. That'd be great. I guess they'd have to have kids first.
Do you think Sam and Joon would have kids?
I would hope so. They're adorable.
I don't know.
Oh,
As you pointed out, like, they could barely find a way to kiss each other.
Well, here's the thing.
The rest of the construction of what it would take to make a child might be a little bit alien.
I did point that out, didn't I? Like, if he's putting his dick in her ear, we don't know.
You had the best description of this, MJ. It's like they're going in for the kiss, and what did you say? They're like,
it was Amy. She said, they were like magnets
when you're putting them
holding
opposing.
Yes, at the wrong side, so they're just like going around each other, like trying to.
But they figured it out.
They did.
Again, something that I think is important too to point out is that you have to remember that there are people with mental illness. Or even just intellectual disabilities that have a husband, that have a child, it can be done. Just, as long as they are getting all the, whatever benefits that they need to help out. It's just to assume that these two people couldn't make that. I think that they could. And I would love to have seen that. And then, just, again, we don't know what that would have done to Joon, that whole hormonal thing and all of that. Or, I don't know. I'm speculating about the sequel that we never wrote. But, I would think that would be definitely a nice possibility.
I guess that's nice. That'd certainly be the way they'd make the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily how it would go.
Yeah. Let me write it. I'll do it well. I promise. I promise.
Did you have a favorite scene, MJ?
I liked the grilled cheese one. I liked the one where he was standing on the chair, going back and forth
Cleaning
with his mop, cleaning things.
Cleaning the ceiling. You need to do that. Honestly, you need to
true.
clean your ceiling. You need to clean your ceiling. You got to get those spider webs down.
Oh, okay. Can we not bring my ceiling up?
Especially since it's not.
You have a drop
easily
ceiling. There's nothing you can do.
I don't want it.
It's not easily
Yeah.
cleanable.
No.
It's got some issues.
You can take each individual tile down and
Oh God! Imagine how
I don't
long
even
it
have
would
that
take to
many
do that.
days left in my life.
and you just don't want to see what's up there.
I don't want to know. I don't. I can kind of see, and it's terrifying me. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite scene?
I love the whole in the park, the whole hat thing. I just thought that was adorable.
That was a really good one.
That's like a throwback to old movies, and Johnny Depp did it so beautifully. And again, like you said, Aidan Quinn didn't really seem like the type that would be okay with,
Aidan Quinn, I don't know, something about his manner. He just looks like the kind of guy who would look at this like as an actor and go, "Why the fuck is this guy wasting my fucking time?"
Yeah.
I just have no time for Johnny Depp being Johnny Depp.
I suppose so.
He does kind of have that
But
face.
then, the movie plays against the type that I'm thinking and has him just love it and think this could be his Sam's future, and I'm going to do this for him and make him a star or something.
But again, like getting caught up in that kind of thing, though, too, that kind of bothered me. Was that, it's like, okay, he's a person. What if he doesn't want? You don't know if he wants to go and do these things. He's like, yeah, you could make a lot of money. And if you notice, like Sam kept saying, he's like, yeah, but is your sister okay? Like he had a focus, and it was Joon. It wasn't about making money. Like a circus.
So Benny's journey in the movie is going from being fully myopic to more open to what the world really is.
Yeah.
And Sam is a really good tool for that, because it's somebody outside of his normal circle. Like, it's a whole new person. It's just like, hey, I'm a person, your sister's a person. Treat us like people.
Exactly. Yeah, that whole park scene I thought was great, and even when they were going back and Benny decided to stay back in the park just because he wanted to try the little chair trick that Sam had done, and I thought that was adorable. I thought that was a sweet little moment. You know what I mean? And yeah, I really enjoyed that. I'm not one for miming. I'm not one for performance art like that, especially when they're holding out their hat for money. So fuck you. But
Well, they didn't even do that though.
They didn't even
I kept waiting for that.
Didn't even do that, and I think that was the other part. It was again, I say charming because it was quite charming, that scene.
Yeah.
You?
I liked the video store scene where he's just sitting outside the video store. He's thinking about going in. He keeps standing up and sitting back down. And I also liked where he's sitting on the mailbox.
Yeah.
And we actually made the joke like somebody's going to come along and mail him, and then Aidan Quinn makes
Made
the
that
same
joke. He's going to put a stamp on him and send him to Guam.
That was a good one.
It reminded me of like it's like Steve Martin is the jerk, but adorable.
Yes, 100% yes, 100% yes. I love that. That's they're simple. Just simple folk. But,
Yeah.
I mean, those are my kind of people. Honestly. Come on. Get up here. The dog's being annoying. Sorry.
Yeah. As always.
At least he's not barking, but...
The strange thing,
yeah.
though, the strange thing is that when it comes to this movie, is like Johnny, I can't imagine anyone other than Johnny Depp doing this.
Agreed.
He wasn't the first choice.
Who was?
The first person that they wanted for this movie was Tom Hanks opposite Julia Roberts.
Ew! Oh, hell no. No. No, I mean, again, I love both of them. Don't get me wrong, but this would not be their movie at all. Like, if anybody... Oh, again, well, no. I was thinking River Phoenix, because he didn't die until October of 93. So that... He could have probably done something quirky like that, I think. He'd be the only other one, though.
But there was there's another connection to Indecent Proposal in this movie, because the Aidan Quinn role initially, and this actually did happen, they gave the Aidan Quinn role to Woody Harrelson.
Oh. What?
Yeah, Woody Harrelson was initially cast in the movie to the point where he was so cast that when he left to go do Indecent Proposal, they actually they filed a lawsuit against him for leaving.
Oh, that's lovely.
Well, I mean, he left the movie with them ready to shoot, they were prepared to go ahead and make this movie, and then he left, and they had to recast, and that's how we ended up with Aidan Quinn.
Huh. That's very interesting. I can't picture it quite. I don't know why.
The other casting that had taken place by that point as well was Laura Dern in the Mary Stuart Masterson role. You have to look up who Laura Dern is, don't you?
A little bit.
Yeah, that's the initial casting. So the cast actually that at one point, so they obviously couldn't get Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts. That was never going to happen. I don't know why anybody thought that would happen.
No, it's so weird.
The initial casting that they then set was going to be Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder.
Okay, now that I can get with that because
okay.
I mean, well, they were together in real life anyway. But yeah.
But then the Winona Ryder thing quickly went away.
Right.
They didn't pursue that. They actually signed up Laura Dern.
What? Oh, I don't know.
Laura Dern, who then quit when she found out she was going to be third bill.
Ouch. Okay. Jesus, Laura, get over yourself.
But it was going to be Woody Harrelson and Laura Dern and Johnny Depp.
I just no. I can't see anybody else doing these roles. It's like they're tailored to them.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
If
They
you
just
want-
kind of played the parts well.
Yeah.
If you want something that doesn't make any sense, and I don't know how true this is, but this is just IMDb trivia talking. Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins.
Nope.
What the hell?
I mean, weren't they in their 40s? By this point?
I know she was.
Yeah. No. That's so weird.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I guess if I were forced to have to recast this film, if I were forced to, for the Aidan Quinn role, for Benny himself, I probably would go with somebody a little less Aidan Quinn. I'm thinking somebody... Because I really like Johnny Depp and Mary Stuart Masterson together, but I love Mary Stuart Masterson.
The
anyway.
obvious choice, and it's a shame he turned it down, is Jürgen Prochnow.
Of course.
That's the obvious choice. Let's skip the obvious.
Okay, I just want to take this moment to apologize because I feel like I should have just said that, and I didn't, and I let Jürgen down, and I want him to know I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jürgen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Should have been your role, and he would have done a great job.
It would have made so much sense.
He turned it down. He didn't have time for it.
Well, I mean, he was the busiest actor in 1993.
He had every other movie to make.
Oh, Jürgen. That's fine. You know what? I'm gonna find a vehicle in my head that I'll cast him in next time.
So who's your female lead?
What, like the Julianne Moore role, or the Mary Stuart Masterson role?
The female lead, yes, Mary Stuart Masterson.
I mean, but she's not like the lead.
She's the lead. She's
Like-
above the title.
Aidan Quinn's the lead, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then Johnny Depp's hot, and Mary Stuart Masterson is awesome. I don't know. I with her. I would not recast her because I love her so much. Some Kind of Wonderful is still one of my favorite movies of all time. And everything she does, I just thoroughly enjoy it. So I would not recast her. I don't know. And I love Julianne Moore, but I didn't really like her character in this film. I thought she was kind of bland. That's just me.
Well, it's also kind of an underwritten role, too.
That's true. That's true.
There's a woman who comes in earlier on in the movie who is very, very, very attractive,
Yeah.
who they dismiss right away
Yeah.
as a potential love interest. And it's like,
she
nothing
asks-
against Julianne Moore, but like,
Yeah.
I was like, I can follow her.
She asked him out.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm busy. What?
That was honestly really surprising that they just put someone in just to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Girl number one. That was her character.
They had to establish that Aidan Quinn, doesn't feel like he can leave his sister alone for very long.
That's true. Well, I mean, she will start a fire in your sink. So, I mean, or just,
or on the floor
with
candle.
your candle floor.
With your
Yeah,
floor
floor
candle.
candle. Which, God, I'm glad those aren't around anymore. God, they're so flammable.
Not do floor candles.
Not a
anymore.
good idea.
Floor candles and Kleenex and fans do not go well together.
No.
Where'd you get your floor candle?
Floor candles plus.
Plus what? We provide the fire?
Plus long lighters.
Everyone should have one. Just know where you're putting it. Yeah, so what do we have coming up?
MJ, if we make this movie today, who stars in it?
Oh, okay. Ooh, I don't.
Think of all the people that you like and cast it that way. Because you like, I mean,
Yeah.
you know your actors
I-
and actresses.
I do. It's harder because a lot of the actors I like, they're mostly sci-fi actors, so it's incredibly hard to think of them as like
there-
rom-com-ish.
Well, that's true.
But I feel like maybe Stephen Amell as Quinn instead of Quinn.
He would do that well.
Kind of a stalwart guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and he's got, you can see the brotherly thing in him and Thea.
That's true.
And then
Yeah, he would be a good choice for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then for Johnny Depp's character.
let's see, Johnny Depp's character. I could almost see like a Cole Sprouse.
Oh. Yeah,
Like-
he is kind of douchey. So, I mean,
Like, just as
What
like
about this guy? Couldn't he do it?
yeah.
He probably could do
He
it.
probably would do it really well.
There's a standee
Yeah.
of Robert Sheen in the movie for some reason.
Look,
Who will
I just
probably
keep
be with
pointing
us
him,
for
like,
the rest of the time.
Exactly. We've got a Paul Rudd and a Jurgen Proch now coming. Don't worry. I feel like is there one for you that you want me to get you?
No, I'm all right.
Are you sure?
I'm good.
I feel like we should have more people in here. More.
Just gonna consult.
That's an entirely different
the
Steve Martin movie.
Isn't it?
What's that one called? I can't remember now. He plays the writer, the lonely guy.
The Lonely God.
Where Charles Grodin teaches him to have a party with like
Yes.
cardboard cutouts so he can get used to talking to people.
I gotta get out my Doctor Who cutouts and stuff. I'll just put them all around.
Yes.
I'll never be alone.
They just turn up the music and just like Home Alone it, where you're like causing them to move around.
Oh my God.
And then Amy's having a huge party. Do you see all the people in there?
And then they get like really close to the window, like, oh fuck. What is this?
It finally happened.
It could be worse. Like I could be like that guy who's in love with balloons, is sexually
Oh my
attracted
God.
to balloons. Like I could be that
Oh my
person.
God. Or
Was
the
that My Strange
car.
Addiction?
Yes.
My Strange Addiction is insane. Oh, there's a woman that thinks she's married to the Eiffel Tower.
Or the one that's married to the roller coaster that isn't put back up.
Yeah.
Just the roller coaster. The lady who eats rocks.
Oh yeah, there
And
was one
She's
who
creating cement in her stomach.
Hmm.
The lady drank Febreze.
Oh, there was
Oh.
the one that wouldn't stop sniffing diapers.
Oh, and she didn't even put her mouth on him.
Yeah.
Remember? 'Cause she
Oh,
liked it if
what
they
the
had
hell?
like, I know. Well, that's why it's not called My Normal Addiction.
Is that the
Maybe
one
it should
that
be
Drew
My
Gooden talked about? The ones where people
My
the
average
weird
addiction.
the weird eaters. Where,
Yeah.
the guy was addicted to eating syrup all the time. I got really pissed off when they took his syrup away.
Why would you do that? That's like if you told me I couldn't have any more wine. Well, see, that's a real addiction. My real addiction. You people who are eating like the walls in your house. We've all got bigger problems, okay? You're gonna end up dying because you have a clogged intestine full of chalk.
I read a book, and I can't remember the title of it, but it was about a guy, and his whole goal in life was just to eat an entire plane. Like, he had a plane on his property, and he was just taking it apart and, like, just taking the pieces and just eating them. And it was a charming romance.
I don't understand. So is the plane gone now?
Eventually, the plane was going to be gone, yeah.
He died, didn't he?
I would assume he did. I don't
died
remember.
eating the propeller.
I don't remember the book, so
That's
I
really
couldn't even tell
weird.
you what the title is. But I stopped reading for a reason.
Because, oh yeah, what you reading for? Not. What are you reading? Bill Hicks. The one. It was the same one as the balloon one. Do you remember? And he wanted to have sex with his balloons. Like he was like really into the ones that you could see through.
Oh yeah.
You know? Oh, sexy balloon guy. And then, Call Me Kevin on his YouTube actually said, he goes, you know what, if he's not hurting anybody, it's not really a problem. And I agree. It's like, just don't fuck your balloon in
Did he take his
public.
balloon to work with him?
No.
There you go.
No.
He does like to take them from public places.
Sure.
If he thinks that they're gonna like pop,
Yeah.
then he just takes them.
Yeah.
Home.
Or he'll, yeah, that's true. And then he cares for them like
Yeah.
a hospice for balloons. He only takes the sexy balloons out on dates, though.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And a good Mylar, I think, is a really sexy balloon.
Is this a David Lynch movie?
No, it should be, though. Holy shit, David Lynch, call me. I'll put you in touch with the balloon lover. I know all weird people. Normalize loving balloons. There we go. What movies do we have coming up? Off on our tangent.
You have a choice
Okay.
of several, of three, really.
Oh, okay.
You can go back to the Kevin Pollak verse if you want to.
For what?
Indian Summer.
I don't have any recollection of that one.
It's him. It's directed by Mike Binder. Diane Lane, Bill Paxton, Elizabeth Perkins, Sam Raimi for some reason.
Wow.
Julie Warner.
Oh, I love Julie Warner.
This Boy's Life, starring Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, it is.
But I think the movie that we have to pick, I think there's only one.
I'm already afraid.
This is, and this would be a tribute to Bob Zarrell, who loves this movie. It's part of the lore of the podcast. It's how much he loves this movie. It's a movie called Who's the Man? Directed by one Ted Demme and starring Dr. Dre and Ed Lover.
Ted Demme?
Yes.
Jonathan's brother?
Ted Demme directed this movie.
Who's the man?
Who's the Man? Bernie Mac, Terrence Howard, Colin Quinn,
Oh my god.
Salt of Salt and Pepper,
What? Stop it.
Duffy from MTV.
Oh. Between that and Blank Check, I'll never get over her. How do you make a film with a 12-year-old? You're the love interest and you're almost 30. Fuck Blank Check. Fuck that fucking movie up the asshole. Fuck you, Duff.
Hey, at least it inspired the Blank Check podcast, which is tremendous.
Is it?
A wonderful, wonderful
There's
podcast.
an actual podcast built around that film.
No. The idea is that they were inspired by the name, and that's it. They just, but they come up with like, I don't have the premise in front of me, but it's
Okay.
a very funny podcast.
Okay. As long as it's not about the movie. Because that movie needs a burn in fucking hell. All of it.
I've heard the host on other podcasts, and they're very funny.
Okay.
So what do you say? Who's the man?
God damn it.
Because I really don't want to watch This Boy's Life. From what I remember, it's just dire.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to cry.
And Indian Summer just sounds like a real boomer movie.
It does.
And it's just,
Ooh, give me that plus Under the Tuscan Sun. I'm gonna go take a bath with some salts Some lavender.
No, it's just a bunch of boomers who go back to their summer camp from when they were kids.
Oh.
And I can just imagine, like,
Oh, and I bet the soundtracks from the 50s.
Oh, God, it's going to be like a whole bunch of 60s needle
60s
drops.
60s needle drops, yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Whereas Who's the Man? It's going to have, like...
That's gonna have one hell of a soundtrack, right? With all of those people involved. It sounds very MTV.
It's not that Dr. Dre. It's a different Dr. Dre.
Okay.
I just didn't want to give you any wrong impressions, because I know you probably have a conception of who Dr. Dre is.
Not entirely.
Okay.
I don't really
He's the
pay
reason why
attention.
Eminem found fame. It's all done. Beats by Dre.
Yeah, well,
That's him.
I've heard
Yeah.
of it, yeah.
So this is Dre and Ed Lover from Yo MTV Raps, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So
There was a show called Yo MTV Raps.
it was badass though, because they would do like some like underground shit, some EPMD, and then you'd have like some weird kind of like old throwback to Tone Loc, and yeah, they kept it real. I loved Yo MTV Raps, loved it. Real hip hop on there, good shit.
Well, who's the first host they had for that? Fab Five Freddy.
Fab Five Freddy,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck yeah.
It was like he was like a Warhol guy in like the late
God.
70s.
He was
and then big in the disco scene, and yeah.
yeah, big, huge, and a great rapper in his own right. I mean, God, Blondie is name checking you. You know you're big at that point. So yeah, he was the first one, and it was just a really great show, because if you think about it, MTV was so white back then, so it was nice to have. Oh shit! One pop of color every day. Thanks, MTV. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I guess we're gonna do that movie.
All right, it's Who's the Man.
Who's the Man next week?
You're
Tune
welcome,
in.
Bob. Bob tells it. There's this very earnest moment from early in the podcast where he wants to, like, we're all introducing movies to each other, myself and our original co-host Josh.
Oh yeah.
And we're all kind of introducing movies to themselves. And of course, people are always intimidated to try and introduce a movie to me that they love. Mm-hmm. So watching Bob tentatively get us all to watch Who's the Man, it was a wonderful bonding moment.
Oh. So you're going into this already knowing what it is, like what's it like and all that.
We watched, like, I think it was I don't know if we did it as a classic. I guess we must have done it as a classic. Contextually, that's really the only way it would have come up, I guess.
Gotcha.
Or it might have been one of our. We used to do a bit, and we should bring that back on this show, where we did our Christmas episode was where we just got each other. We each bought each other a movie.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we did for the show that week.
I like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. We also used to do a Thanksgiving episode where we just talked about movies we're thankful that exist.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah.
So yeah, we can do those as bonus episodes.
Absolutely. I'm down.
Yeah.
I got nothing else going. I'm very single. My number is 563. Don't forget
555
Don't forget
5555.
555-1212 was the number you could call to get the time, by the way. Don't forget, if you want a VHS copy of this podcast, make sure that you send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Journal Graphics, 60609, Pueblo, Colorado, 60609. And we'll send you a VHS copy of the podcast today.
Yeah, and if you want to find our social media, we've got a bunch of Polaroids taped to a pole outside of Amy's house.
Right? Yeah.
She's written little status updates on them.
Just so you know, that's how we keep everyone informed. I love social media.
We update once a week.
Once a week. So stop on by. It's right outside of my house. Bring food.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
I have Facebook at home.